He kicked Naomi out with nothing, not even knowing she was pregnant. Years later, at his wedding, he planned to humiliate her. But when she stepped out of a Ferrari in a yellow dress, holding the hands of twin boys who looked exactly like him, the crowd gasped and his world shattered. Before we dive in, let us know in the comments what time is it and where are you watching from. Let's start. "You're useless," David Grant spat, tossing her suitcase onto the driveway. His voice thundered across the mansion gates. "You came into my life with nothing, and you'll leave with nothing." Naomi froze. Back then she wore only faded jeans and a tired blouse. Her hands trembled as she clutched her stomach, her eyes glassy. "You can't do this, David," she whispered. "I already did." David sneered, his tuxedo jacket half open, his hair slicked back with arrogance. "Our divorce is final. You signed the papers. You begged for a little settlement, didn't you? I gave you scraps. Now get out of my sight before the guards drag you." Naomi's lips quivered. "After everything I gave you, my youth, my loyalty?" He cut her off with a laugh. "Loyalty doesn't pay bills. Beauty fades. Money talks. You were a mistake I've corrected. Don't make me repeat myself." The iron gates closed behind her, shutting her out of the life she had once helped build. Neighbors whispered as she dragged her suitcase down the road. Humiliation burned hotter than the tears streaking her face. Those first nights were the hardest. She slept on a friend's couch, cradling her belly, whispering to herself, "I will not break. Not now." When the twins were born, her struggle doubled. Sleepless nights, 2 cribs, 2 mouths crying at once. She worked shifts at a diner, scrubbing tables while her babies slept in a basket behind the counter. Customers sneered. "From mansion to mopping floors, huh?" one man mocked. Naomi kept her head down. She whispered to her sons, "One day they'll see who we are." Years crawled by. David flaunted his new life, magazine covers, luxury cars, women on his arm. Naomi avoided the gossip, but each headline cut deep. Still, she refused to fold. She studied at night, learned business basics, saved every tip and paycheck. When her savings grew, she risked it all. A small boutique, just 1 store, cheap rent, barely enough to keep the lights on. "It'll fail in a month," people said. But Naomi had fire. She worked the counter herself, designed clothes with her own hands, modeled resilience for her boys. The twins, Jordan and Marcus, grew beside her, disciplined and sharp. She taught them to iron their shirts, to greet customers politely, to never let anyone call them less than they were. "You are not his shadow," she told them. "You are my pride." Her boutique expanded. 1 store became 2, then 5. Local magazines began to notice. "From waitress to entrepreneur," the headlines read. Secretly, Naomi laughed at the irony. She had been building her empire in silence while David thought she was drowning. She never flaunted her success. Every coin was reinvested, every step calculated. The Ferrari, the tailored yellow dress, those came later. For now, she lived quietly, letting her work speak louder than gossip. Then one evening, a thick white envelope arrived at her office. Her assistant dropped it on her desk, curious. "Looks fancy." "Who's it from?" Naomi slid it open. The embossed lettering made her stomach twist. "You are cordially invited to the wedding of David Grant, her ex-husband." Her breath caught. The paper nearly slipped from her hand. Anger rushed in first. He wanted her there, in front of his new bride, in front of the same crowd that once watched her being thrown out. He wanted to humiliate her all over again. Her assistant frowned. "Are you going to go?" She folded the invitation slowly, a sharp smile curling at her lips. "Oh, I'll go." Her eyes glimmered with the quiet strength of a woman who had rebuilt herself brick by brick. But not the way he expects. The day of the wedding glistened with wealth. White roses lined the aisle, a red carpet stretched across the lawn, and a sleek red Ferrari sat at the edge, catching the sunlight like fire. Guests clinked glasses, whispering about the millionaire's new bride, her lace gown, and the spectacle of it all. David stood tall in his black tuxedo, grinning, holding his bride's hand. "Wait until Naomi arrives," he murmured. "The whole world will see the difference between me and her." But when the roar of an engine silenced the chatter, his grin faltered. Heads turned, the Ferrari door opened, and out stepped Naomi. No faded jeans, no trembling voice. She wore a brilliant yellow dress that hugged her with confidence. Her head was high, her stride powerful. On either side of her, Jordan and Marcus walked hand in hand in their powder blue suits. Their bow ties gleamed, their gazes steady. Gasps spread like wildfire. She brought children?" someone whispered. The bride's bouquet shook in her grip. David's jaw tightened, but he forced a laugh. "Well, well. She still knows how to make an entrance." He raised his voice so the crowd could hear. "Shame they're fatherless, though." The words sliced the air. The twins stiffened, but Naomi's grip didn't falter. She turned her gaze on David, calm, sharp, unflinching. "Fatherless?" she said evenly. "Look closely, David." Murmurs rose. The boys stood straighter, their faces a mirror of the man at the altar, his eyes, his jawline, his exact reflection, duplicated in two small suits. The bride's face drained of color. Her eyes darted between her groom and the twins, realization hitting like a storm. David's smug mask cracked. This is a trick," he barked. "She's trying to ruin my day. Those could be anyone's kids." Naomi lifted her chin. "Anyone's? You don't even remember the night you threw me out. You didn't ask if I was carrying your child. You didn't care. All you wanted was to show the world how powerful you were, while I walked away alone." Her voice sharpened. "Well, here they are. The legacy you never claimed. The sons you never knew." Jordan stepped forward, his voice small but steady. "We don't need you. We have her." The crowd erupted. Gasps, claps, whispers. Guests who had once laughed at Naomi's downfall now looked at her with awe. David's face reddened. "You dare—" "I don't need to dare," Naomi cut him off. "I don't need your money, your name, or your pity. I built my own. While you mocked, I worked. While you climbed higher, I rebuilt from the ground, and now—" She gestured to the Ferrari, to her sons. "Now I stand taller than you ever could imagine." The bride pulled her hand from David's, her eyes wide. "You never told me. I didn't know," David snapped, his voice breaking. But it was too late. His plan to humiliate Naomi had backfired. Naomi turned, her yellow dress glowing, Jordan and Marcus walking proudly beside her. She didn't shout, didn't curse. She didn't need to. Her silence, her strength, and the undeniable truth were enough. Applause followed her as she stepped toward the car. The same crowd that once pitied her now admired her. David stood abandoned at the altar, his bride shaken, his pride shattered. Naomi opened the car door, her voice soft but firm. "We walk away with dignity." Always, she glanced back only once, meeting David's eyes. Not with hatred, just finality. Then she slid into the Ferrari with her sons, leaving dust and silence behind. That day, Naomi proved that strength was the best revenge, and that walking away with pride was louder than any insult shouted in anger. Naomi walked away with dignity, proving strength is the greatest revenge. If this story touched you, like, share, and subscribe for more powerful stories that inspire and shock.